Oh my. Is there really any gold in Fort Knox? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Let's take a look.
Down on the strip where the neon glows, there's a little shop everybody knows, where history's bought and treasures are sold. Gold and silver, stories unfold. When the doors close and the lights dim low, Rick and Sean kick back, friends to get to know. Gold and silver by day, but at night, my friend, on after dark is where the stories and laughter never end.
Maybe we could talk about this because we are the gold and silver pawn shop. Is this possible Fort Knox audit on the gold? What do you think about that? How long? Can you give me a little history about how long we've kept gold in Fort Knox and why we've kept it in Fort Knox?
Well, but you got to go back to like okay, forever. Okay, money is gold and silver. Okay.
By forever, you mean thousands and thousands of years.
Thousands of years. Okay. I mean, you got the showcase out there. We literally have gold coins from Alexander the Great, 400 BC.
And what do you think a gold coin in that era cost? How's the gold in that era?
I mean, I have like in the showcase right now, I have a Alexander the Great gold drachma, and it's I think it's a drachma. Yeah, I might not be sure on that, but 432 BC.
Okay.
And
just for me, 432 BC, that's older than 4,000 years, or
no, 432 BC. That's okay. Back in the day, BC is before Christ.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the math because we're in 2000 AC, right?
AD. Okay, but I'll go off on a little crazy side note. But now all the books have like they don't say AD anymore. They say CE and BCE. Because that's the new politically correct thing, which is insane to change the language because now, you see, BC, it's just crazy. They're trying to change it.
How old is that, though, 432 BC? How old
that would be, we're 2025 now, so that'd be 357, 2,457 years old.
Okay, it's pretty old.
Yeah, but we've always been using, I mean, forever gold and silver has been the choice for money, okay? Because you just can't whip it out of thin air. Forever, people have tried to use paper currency. Genghis Khan tried to use paper currency, and it actually worked for a while until someone starts, but the paper currency, like this amount of silver is in Genghis Khan's vault, and it's exchanged. You go to the vault, you exchange it for silver, but it's it was much easier to carry around a piece of paper than 50 pounds of silver. But as like with all governments, eventually,
and that's and then they ended up. So we originally started with our dollar backed against gold and silver, or was it just backed against gold? How did that work, and how did that? Why did that stop?
I mean, you're getting really. Let me finish up with the Genghis Khan. We'll go forward because it's a really complicated story. You sort of need to know all of it. So, but governments, like the temptation to print more money if you can just print it.
Yeah.
Okay, because like basically the officials at at the vault, like during China, Genghis Khan, going like, well, people aren't going to cash out all the silver, so we'll just print some more certificates, because they're not going to come with all the certificates at one time and cash out all the gold and silver. But then eventually they print more and more and more, and then they go to try to cash it out, and it's not there. And in the United States, even in the United States, like the French tried in the 1700s, the French tried to do paper currency. It was a complete mess, massive inflation. The paper became worthless. During the Revolutionary War, there was continental currency. It was issued by states. It was issued by Congress. This was before we were a nation. This was during the Revolutionary War. And there was a slang term in the early 1800s, not worth a continental, because the government was paying like 1 cent on the dollar for them.
And they were supposed to be backed by silver,
they weren't
gold?
backed by anything.
Okay.
And so when we become a country, we basically say like, we're going to have gold. And it's in our Constitution that the states individually, like Nevada, California, Texas, it says in our Constitution that they can make money, but if they make money, it has to be made out of gold or silver. Okay. And so everything was gold or silver. Okay. And then our paper money was redeemable in gold or silver. But there was, like during the Civil War, there was a big problem with that because everyone didn't know which side of the war was going to win and which one's currency was going to be worth anything. And the price of silver literally went to like $10 an ounce. So like that made a silver dollar worth, $20 in paper money.
In today's money, that would be a lot.
Yeah. So, we were always on a gold standard. It was really weird because the standard is gold. Okay. Like 1 ounce, it was basically 1 ounce gold was basically worth $20. That was the way it was in our country for a very long time. Silver was a different thing. There wasn't really any locked price on silver, but we just made silver dollars because people expected the coins to be made out of silver.
So just one part. So the way I kind of understand it is gold is actually like the number one, like the tier A1 currency, right?
Yeah.
And silver is not necessarily currency, but it does have some intrinsic value to be a considered currency, but it's more of an industrial metal, and that holds the price of silver.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, in the Western world, United States and Europe and the Middle East and everything like that, that was all gold was the standard. But in Asia, silver was the standard. So it was there was a whole different story mess there. But we basically, that was if you got a $20 bill, that was just a receipt for gold. Okay, I mean, it used to say right on paper money, like silver certificate. Okay, it would say $1 silver on it. That's what it would say on a paper $1 bill, and you could literally go to a bank and cash that in and get your silver dollar back. Even when the Federal Reserve came along, it would say you could go to a Federal Reserve bank and cash it in for silver, and there was gold notes. You could cash them in for gold. But then the Great Depression came along, and Franklin Roosevelt had some really weird economic theories. And it's my opinion why the Great Depression went on so long. Okay. He thought that inflation would be a really good thing. Okay. And inflation is never a good thing.
No. Even I know that.
Yeah. But he thought if there was a lot of inflation, the price of crops would go up a lot more. And then, like, farmers could pay off their loans to the bank on their mortgages easier because, you'd still owe the same amount of money, but they would be making a lot more money. All goods would cost more money, but the loans would still be the same. So he came up with the Gold Confiscation Act, which was, like, some people consider it the greatest theft in world history. And basically what it said is no one's allowed to own more than 5 ounces. Basically what it said was no one's allowed to own more than 5 ounces of gold.
And would this count as jewelry as well?
Some jewelry you could have, but if you had a giant gaudy, like giant Cuban link chain like we have today, they would have considered that's not jewelry. You're just trying to get around the law.
Okay.
And they confiscated things like that for people. So you had to go cash in all your gold at $20 an ounce.
And this was a federally mandated law.
Federal law. You could actually go to prison for owning more than 5 ounces for hoarding gold.
They gave you a grace period to do this.
Okay, they gave you a certain period of time. Gave you a few months. It was only a few months actually, and you had to trade in all your gold coins and stuff because the Mint still made gold coins, and people went to the store and bought stuff with gold coins and stuff.
And so a gold coin is worth $20 at the time.
Yeah, you have $20 gold pieces.
Yeah,
$20 gold. They had $1 gold pieces, $2.50 gold pieces, all the way up to $20.
And that's why an ounce of gold says on it $20, even though it's valued at over $3,000 today.
Well, that's a different story. That's modern gold coins that the Mint makes, but we're going back in history here. So, but like I said, he thought that inflation would help solve the Great Depression, which just kept on going. So everybody's got to cash in their gold coins for paper money. And so you take your $20.
That wasn't taken well, right? Where people.
Oh no, there was a lot of gold hoarded. People were really, really pissed off on it. There was people. I mean, companies used to issue bonds that were payable in gold, and they're like, "What's going to happen here?" And then everyone turned in their gold. I think it was July 1933 or something like that. They had to turn in all their gold. I could be off for a year maybe. And everyone turned in their gold. And after that day, it was like, it was a crime to hoard gold. And then the government came along. Gold's now $35 an ounce.
Was that like the next day, or was
the next day? They said now gold is now $35 an ounce.
Oh wow!
So people
felt they felt like they just government got one over on
Yeah,
them.
because overseas we still exchanged gold for dollars. So if you went into a bank in London with dollar bills, it would now cost you $35 bills to get an ounce of gold.
So although this exchange happened, although this transition happened, and overnight gold was $35, legally I would have been still allowed to have 5 1-ounce coins in my possession.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
I could have went in and sold these and made that $35, or would that have been?
It was a really gray area, but basically, you know, yeah. After that, you could have sold your 5 ounces, but like,
I imagine there was a massive transfer of wealth that went on right at that period
Yeah.
of time.
I mean, it was crazy. I mean, like this is 1930s crazy. I mean, Franklin Roosevelt was really, he did a lot of really weird socialist stuff and like some crazy economic things. Really grew the federal government and thought that would get us out of depression. I think he had good intentions, but he was just listening to really crazy people. Because let's face it, the government that never does anything proper. So I think it was right after World War II. We decided we got to get all this gold together that we collected in one spot, in a secure spot. So they built Fort Knox.
So it was just located in different banks, or
Yeah,
things
they
like
had
that?
a different place. So I think it was built right at the end of World War II. I could be wrong on the dates, but they built at military base Fort Knox. Okay, everyone just when you say Fort Knox, everyone just thinks that's where the gold's at.
Now was
But
Fort Knox a base before, and then they added this?
no,
to
it was a military base already, and they built this massive vaults, supposedly with landmines. There's so many rumors, and they don't talk a lot about it. Machine gun posts, like giant concrete steel walls, everything, and that's where all the gold was put. But in the 1970s, there started to be like rumors like the gold's not there, and people were like, "Oh my God!" So the government comes along and says, like people, we want to see the gold. We want to see the gold. So there's all these different vaults full of gold. They opened up one vault. Okay, it was really weird because this was a vault with melted down coin gold. Okay, it's called coin gold or whatever, and it was stacked against the walls, really, really weird. I mean, like literally all the way to the ceiling, stacked on top of each other, so you couldn't even pull a bar out, or the whole thing would fall down. And they brought them in, let them look, and then close the door. But what about the other ones? No, we're just going to let you see the one.
And so at this point, were we holding gold for other countries as well?
Okay, that's different. That's the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
This is actually the gold that is owned by the U.S. government. Now,
So only at Fort Knox is the gold held by the U.S. government.
at Fort Knox, that is owned by the U.S. government.
Okay.
So 1972, they open up one vault, but it's kind of weird. Okay, people know about gold. Like this is odd the way it's stacked and everything like this, but why can't we see the rest of the gold? Because last time it was audited was in the 1950s. I mean, someone's gone in there and like done an audit, like, yep, it's all here, everything's good. Closed it back up. A few years ago, they opened a vault for some congressmen to go look around. But like these guys are not experts. They don't know about gold. They couldn't tell if they're real bars or not. And there's never been a real audit, someone going in there, testing everything, weighing everything. Is it all here since the 1950s? So
how much is supposed to be in there?
Right around, I think it's close to 9,000 tons or something like that.
And I might be getting ahead of myself, so we might want to ease into this, but how would one go about auditing that much gold?
It's pretty simple. You would go, I mean, the procedure would be you would get someone who is familiar with gold, and there's a lot of people in our business that know that.
Like you.
You would literally, you'd walk into a room, you'd count the bars, and then you would randomly select some of them. Okay. And the great thing now is there's X-ray machines and stuff like that. You literally X-ray it, make sure it's the metal content is correct. There's
kind of like how Bob Dodge comes in with his little
that does
machine.
The surface. You need a little bit more complicated than that, but just like certify, out of 10,000 bars, you pick out 50 of them, randomly test them, okay? Because to test them all would take forever, okay? And say, okay, this is good. We got the bars, we got the weights right, randomly test bars, make sure the weights are right, and that's how you would do it. But, I mean, they've been adamant about it people have been saying we need to audit Fort Knox since the 1960s, and it hasn't been done. And like my theory, okay, if they're that, I mean, they're that dead set against us, not auditing it, I think there's a problem. Okay, because if there wasn't a problem, they'd say, like, oh, come on, take a look.
I mean, what kind of consequences could it have on the economy if the gold wasn't all there? I mean, is our economy still? I know we don't have the gold-backed dollar anymore, but is our economy tied to the value of the gold?
It's a psychological thing. Every major country in the world has a gold, has, they have a gold reserve, and it's not their currency isn't necessarily backed by it, but it's a psychological thing saying like the currency is not backed by gold, but they have gold reserves. If something happens to their currency, they have gold reserves. They can issue gold as money. It's a psychological thing, and if the gold's not there, I think the price of gold would spike through the ceiling.
Yeah,
you'd see $20,000 an ounce gold.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have sold all mine. Can I borrow a couple ounces?
So that's the whole thing. I mean, like my thinking is if there's so many people so dead set against an audit, there's probably a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, if there is a problem, we're not going to find out about
it. The thing is, though, we got Trump in office who does not play by the old world rules of politics, and we'll see what happens.
Trump's a smart man. I don't think he would.
Yeah, but eventually it's going to come out. You know what I mean? And in these situations, they just get worse and worse and worse. I mean, it's like
I need to restack gold before it comes out. So
I need a couple years. Just.
I mean, it sounds like maybe 5 or 10 ounces of gold would do me good.
Okay. Now, when you talk about the Federal Reserve doesn't have any of its own gold. Okay. The Federal Reserve, what it started doing for like foreign nations, and they basically started doing this after, like, okay, so when we were still on the gold standard and things like that, and you could exchange your dollars for gold, the Federal Reserve would have some of the United States' gold at their banks for people to exchange. So you go to a Federal Reserve Bank, exchange your paper money for gold coins. But after World War II, you had the Cold War, you had the Soviet Union, everyone was afraid, everyone was afraid there was going to be another war in Europe. So you had countries like Germany, England, United Kingdom, all these, Spain, all these different countries, they were deposited a lot of their gold at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York and in different Federal Reserve Banks in the United States for safekeeping, just in case there was ever a war. All their gold wouldn't be taken away. It would be, they would have a stockpile of gold to reform the government somewhere else, maybe do some resistance to like the Soviet Union. But here's the other conspiracy theory. So I think it was like right around 2013, Germany, elected a pretty conservative government, and they wanted to repatriate their gold. They wanted their gold back from New York. They wanted to keep their gold in Germany, and they tell the Federal Reserve we want our gold back. And the Federal Reserve's going like, well, it's going to take a long time for us to get you your gold.
By a long time, they meant
they said 10 years.
By a long time, they meant you can't have it, right?
Okay, and it was like, what the fuck do you mean? Put it on a fucking truck, bring it to a fucking dock, put it on a ship. Okay, I mean it's a couple of containers. It's like a couple of containers. We'll have some security for it. We'll bring it back. Well, no. It's going to take some time to do. And, and so like within a few months, they said, well, we'll send over a few tons. Okay. And there's a term called fungible. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, but explain it to me just in case I'm not understanding it.
So like paper money is fungible. Okay. So if I loan you $20, and a week later you pay me back, you don't have to give me the exact same $20 bill back. You can give me any $20 bill.
Okay. It's $20.
Okay. If I'm a baker and you're a baker and hey, you're low on flour, I give you a sack of flour, okay, because you need to bake some stuff, and you bring back a sack of flour a week later. It's not the same sack of flour, but it's that's fungible. Okay. But you can go on the Federal Reserve's website. All that money deposited with them is not fungible.
So by money, we mean gold.
We're talking, the gold. Okay, so the gold bars the Germans dropped off are theirs, and when they get the gold returned, it's going to be those exact same bars.
Okay.
So the first shipment Germany gets back, it's Chicago Mercantile Exchange bars.
Not the ones they sent.
Not the ones they sent.
And that's not just a logistical error, I'm guessing.
No, because it's different bars. So there was a lot of theories on that, like what the hell is going on, and supposedly all the gold got back to them, but I don't know. But apparently, it wasn't the gold they dropped off, and they had to get it. It sounds like the Federal Reserve had to go buy it. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories there about where the gold would go. Like, and the Federal Reserve, that's another crazy story. We'll do that on another podcast, how it's saying that, because they've never been audited.
Yeah, we won't even go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, that's another rabbit hole. But that's my theory with Fort Knox, that if you got a lot of officials saying, no, we can't audit the federal Fort Knox. There's probably a reason why they don't want it audited.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We got a lot of things going on right now. As much as I'd love to see Fort Knox audited, there's a lot of other problems in the world. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to see more of just Rick and I, we would love to answer some of your questions. And
all right.
Talk about
that was it.
Rick is a encyclopedia.
Well, how's everybody doing? My brother Nickel in the house. Sister KK, what's happening? Wikipedia.
Super nerd.
So
I'll put the link up if y'all want to discuss.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you missed our last episode, you can click on it right now.
This is After Dark.
Get her done, whiskey. I don't know. That was interesting. Quit smoking. I don't smoke, fool. This guy said quit smoking. I quit smoking when I was about 30, 20 years ago. I got the bronchitis. That's what it is. The bronchitis, man. I'm on the... Hey, sister. How's it doing?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm good, except for I'm ill, of course. I got the lung crud or whatever it is.
I better change that.
Oh my.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't like that one.
But Nickel does, so you could leave it on. I don't mind. He eats some eye candy for my brother Nickel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing all right.
I was just finishing up some projects. I'm playing my solitaire before I go to bed. And I see you come live.
I just saw that interesting video. They still haven't went in there. I remember when Trump said it like 2 months ago. We're going in. We're going to audit Fort Knox. And they never did.
Yeah. No.
There's something to that. It's a scam.
Because their gold is no longer there.
Exactly. And if it is, it's either fake or it belongs to somebody else. It's not ours.
Yep.
The Nickel. What's happening, brother?
Hey, Nickel.
Uh-oh. Silent treatment.
What?
Oh, what's up, brother? Did you see any of that video about Fort Knox?
Yep.
What's your opinion? I wonder.
I don't think it's all there.
Fuck no, it ain't. Otherwise, they would have went and showed us a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's disappeared off the. You don't hear Trump talking anything about it now.
Nope. I remember for 2 weeks that was all I heard. We're going in. Me and Elon, we're going in. We're gonna find all the gold and show you. And sure enough, never happened.
Yep.
So Trump fired his first dude in his cabinet.
Oh shit! I saw something about that, but I didn't hear.
Yeah, the guy from Florida that was his security advisor. He's getting blamed for them talking on their phones in front of everybody, so everybody can hear.
Well, he did more than once, so yeah, he should be blamed. They all should have been. Be honest with you, they all should have been fired because you were part of something that was illegal. You know it's illegal for it to be done on a not a secured line. So, but that's my opinion.
I don't know nothing about it. I haven't watched that story yet, but
No,
I'm sure.
can you imagine if it would have been Biden that would have happened? The same
or
one
any other president.
that they would have.
Period.
Now they're saying, "Oh, it don't matter." But if it had been Biden or Harris, if she would have won, they would have gone. That other side would have gone nuts over that.
Yeah.
They all need to be fired, and she needs to be impeached. That's what you'd hear.
Yep.
Oh man, they do that on every single topic. If anything that Trump did was done by anyone else, everyone would lose their fucking mind. But since it's Trump, they're like, "Oh, he's a maverick. He does things different." Hey, quit smoking.
Yeah, I thought you'd hear. I thought you'd read that. I heard it.
I got that bronchitis, bro.
I thought that was Chumley or Chubby or what's his name?
It was Chumley and Rick on the video.
He was wearing jellies. I'm going, come on, man. Get some real shoes.
that shit that dude rides Harleys bigger than your house. I tell you what, he can wear whatever he wants. Anyways, it was a good
Documentary.
a good video. Yeah.
Interview.
Opinion piece. Op-ed.
Yeah.
Dear Lord. I've been down for 3 days on this lung shit. It's killing me, man.
Mm-mm.
Can't go to work with this.
When did you start working?
When did I start?
Yeah.
When I was 14. When did you?
We're not going to discuss that now.
Okay.
So what you guys been up to?
I've just been watching. I haven't been able to work for the last 4 days, so I've been watching some Gold Rush. Remember that show? I just found out there's a new season, so I binge watched that whole fucking season.
I watched the Jaws 1, and then I'll probably watch Jaws 2 later tonight.
Oh my! I know I've watched them both, but I can't even remember what happens in any of them. I know there's a scary shark involved. That's about it. We need a bigger boat. That's all I remember.
He came up the surface. He goes, I think you're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. I went
never
to
watched that.
Universal Studios. They had a tour when I was like 10 or 11. My mom took us, and they drive this little tram all through the Universal. And there's one part where you're just cruising by a peaceful lake, and all of a sudden, a fucking mechanical jaws comes out of the lake and splashes everyone and scares the fuck out of you. I remember that.
Well, they got one for Jurassic Park too, don't they? Where the dinosaurs come out of the blue.
Oh yeah, yep.
Their head
And they got a King Kong one too. I remember that.
I would say if I was an announcer, I'd say for those who need to get new underwear, our store. Oh man,
That's a pretty cool place. If you ain't never been there, it's expensive as fuck. It's about $100 a day to get in, and then it's like $18 for a bottle of water.
Yep.
But everything is cool.
Well, that was years and years ago when you
Oh,
were
yeah.
younger.
Exactly. Now it's probably $30. Fuck.
yep. Now that Trump's in there with the tariffs, it's probably 50.
Mm.
A water.
Bottle of water. We got tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that Amazon is going to start posting 2 separate prices with and without the tariff for anything.
He called and had a fit, and they
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder why you would do that. Why would you be upset over that? I wonder.
Exactly. You don't want no one knowing the truth.
Well, one of the companies does do it, and I can't remember who it was. And they already say this is what it's going to cost you, and this is how much the tariff is.
Yep, it's here. This is your price. This is your
Yeah.
Trump price. There's your Trump, and that daggone son of a butt.
Mhm.
He done make me pay 3 times what I had to pay. You idiot.
Yeah, especially if it's from China.
Oh, you know his new name, right? Trump's new name?
Ass hat.
No,
No, I don't
No.
remember. What?
$2.
$2?
Yeah.
$2.
I don't get it.
He said at a press conference or wherever he was that they were talking about, Chinese, and you can't get toys and everything from there. And well, I guess they'll the kids will have to get $2 instead of 30.
Yeah, yeah. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I don't even think we need any goddamn dolls. Fuck dolls. Put that shit in the. Who needs a goddamn doll? I can make. Come on. Except for Nickel, I know. Besides the Nickel's sex doll, he needs that.
Now wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You mean tell me you didn't have a GI Joe when you was little?
Yeah, I did.
All right, you guilty fiend, you.
Yep.
And I had some Star Wars figures, and some He-Mans.
Well, you get Jabba the Hutt, and you get Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you don't get the others. That's
But those
two.
were collector pieces, though. I was a collector. I didn't play with them. I didn't sit there in my room and dance around with them on the fucking coffee table. Hey, how are you doing? I'm fine, Mr. Vader. How are you, Yoda? Come on. They were collectors.
Prove it.
Those things are worth mega money right now. If you got a 1985 G.I. Joe original Snake Eyes in the box, you're looking at $2,000.
Well, what's going to happen is this: UPS laid off 20,000. They're not going to need Christmas help this year, and that's the first time.
That's right.
First time ever that UPS will not be wanting to need to hire people to help out.
Well, that just means it's going to take 3 weeks longer to get your shit.
No,
Yep.
because they won't be having anything to deliver.
No.
Mm.
There's
I
still,
doubt it.
Remember, they cut back staff too, so you got.
I doubt it. People are still buying.
But you can't get the product.
There is not going to be product. Is the whole thing.
Oh,
I put on my video. If you watch my Christmas video, I put the song. It was the year without Santa Claus.
Okay,
can't believe it.
here's the thing, guys. I worked in the reselling. I worked in I worked at Gulf. Let's put it that way. Our Christmas stuff came in April. In April, not in the summer or any of that. I'm wrong. In April it comes, and we had to store it. And we would have those big 18-wheeler trucks out there.
yeah, those big ass shipping containers. I seen them. They already got like 30 of them outside Walmart right now, all ready for Christmas.
But they're 18-wheeler trucks things there, and there ain't gonna be those.
Yep, the truck drivers are saying it's the worst slowdown they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The ports, there's no activity, there's no cranes, there's no nothing coming in. It's completely
Nope.
Have either one of y'all noticed anything? 'Cause I still got all my shit. Everything I still go look for, it's always still there. I don't know.
Well, so far, but they said
So far, yeah.
by the end of June you ain't gonna have it.
Like what would you think that's gonna be there for you, Pops?
Well, one thing, I buy Canadian whiskey every single day of my life, and it hasn't went up a single penny.
Oh, you buy the Crown?
No. There's three different ones. I do R or Canadian Mist or LTD. They're all imported from Canada, and he said they're gonna Canada this, Canada that. Nothing
It's gonna
has
go
changed
up.
over here.
The reason it hadn't
I
gone
haven't
up,
seen it.
you're still buying the old one at the old price. It's going to be
Yes.
going.
Yeah.
No, trust me, I
Yes.
flush that shit out
The
every week.
stocking merchandise is double what you would use in 3 to 6 months.
And you know whose fault it is? You know who Trump said whose fault it is?
Biden's.
yeah, I know it. With the stock market, the days it goes up, he says, I'm good. And then the days it goes bad, he goes, dag on that Biden.
Yeah.
Same thing happened when he took over Obama, and after the first 100 days, it was the best stock market of all time. See what I did? No, that was still running off of Obama's list. He ruined it, and then it went down by half. He thinks he's sneaky, but we're on to him. He wants to claim bad credit for anything good and blame everything bad on somebody else. If it was good, I did it. If it was bad, I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the slowest Christmas ever, and the retailers are going to have one of their worst years ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's quite a few of them looking into filing bankruptcy already. A lot of department stores and stuff are filing bankrupt already.
And I guarantee you this, there'll be such few things on the shelf that people will be fighting for it. They'll be fighting it. You'll be hearing, oh, ah.
Yeah.
Oh, they've been doing that for. Don't get there on a Black Friday morning at Walmart. Shit.
Well, yeah, but there'll be
get trampled.
There'll be 30 people trying to get the last 3 dolls or last 3 toys or something.
When are you?
Yeah, I do not leave the house on Black Friday. Fuck that shit.
There ain't gonna be a Black Friday, and there ain't gonna be nothing there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be any after Thanksgiving sales. I think that'll all be canceled.
Nope. Oh, bullshit.
I'm telling you,
it will always be that. No matter, even if it's fake, it'll still be announced as that.
Yeah. Here, you got that loaf of bread here. You got your $30 for that loaf of bread. Here you go.
I don't even fuck with bread mostly, for the most part. Leave my meats alone and I'll be all right.
You don't
bread
think
is
your
for,
meat's gonna
bread's
go
for
up.
people that can't afford meat.
You don't think your meat's gonna go up.
I didn't say that.
Farmers. Guess
who I live with? Farmers. Guess who all my best friends are? Farmers.
Okay. Now stop and think. They're gonna.
My boss has 800 head of cattle in her yard. I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, that's what I don't understand. If Canada canceled the cattle deals, which they did, so that meat, where's that meat going to go? We should get it, and our prices should go down. Because who else is going to eat it? They can't go to get it to nobody else. So it should be.
Would you rather have your bread or your cattle? I'll take the cattle. I make my own bread. I got flour. I can do that.
Well, that's another thing. There's been so many farms that were destroyed that the crops are not there to be doing.
Oh, that's because old boy, what's his name? Bill Gates is buying up all the wheat fields.
I'll tell you the other problem. He's taking everybody, even if you're born in America, and send you to El Salvador. There's not going to be anybody to pick the crops or the grapes.
I think El Salvador is probably full by now, ain't it? God,
he told him to make 5 more prisons.
He did say that.
Yeah. He told him, I need you to do about 5 more of them. I got a bunch of homegrowns I need to send you. So that homegrown would be a Hispanic that's been born in America. So I mean, they ain't coming out here. You don't see any Hispanics walking the streets here. They're all hiding, man.
Over there in Kentucky.
Indiana. Don't insult me with Kentucky. That's
I don't
Steve.
know.
That's Steve
Don't
country.
I know y'all eat some good fried chicken. That's all I know.
Well, gentlemen, I am going to bed.
All right,
Night.
sister. Love and respect.
Love and respect.
Peace out. Thanks for stopping through.
Even you, Nickel. Love and respect.
Me.
Night, guys.
See you.
All right. Well, I guess that was all I had to say.
Well, if you are Hispanic or have an accent or you have a tattoo,
If
you're
you even
gone,
speak
man.
Spanish, if you're even fluent in Spanish,
You better have your papers
Bye-bye.
on you. You better have your social security card. You better have your birth certificate. All that. You're gone, man. They don't give you a chance to prove it. They just fold you up like a suitcase, throw you in the car.
I
Next
guess that's
thing-
only around big cities, though, because around here, I still got 1 million wetbacks in my vicinity. I'll tell you that.
They haven't got
They-
there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, so it's unbelievable. And that, you know, that he needed that. He just as the party got them under the tent. Now they're going to all go back to the Democrat side now. So they're going to win. The Democrats are going to win big. I'm telling you, AOC will be your next president. Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
Who the fuck is AOC?
It'll be AOC president, Bernie Sanders VP.
Who the fuck is AOC? I never even heard of that.
She's from New York.
What? It's a bitch.
Yeah, she got big knockers. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, how could I never have heard of her?
Jobbies here.
You don't even know her name. You just call her AOC.
Got your initials. So
What's your name?
Look AOC up on your search. It'll come up.
God, it says
Yeah.
AOL.
Get her a show her with her big knockers up there talking. And
She ain't gonna be no president.
oh yeah,
Especially when I ain't even heard of her yet. Come on.
well, yep. Her and Bernie Sanders they're the ones that went to Idaho. You missed it because you was sleeping.
I remember Bernie, but I didn't see no AOC in the fucking house.
She was right beside him.
If anything, she'll be the vice and he'll be the president.
No, it won't work that way. But the young people will vote for her. I'm telling people they're underestimating her. I said all the young people, college age and under, just think she's great. I said
That's what everyone said about Kamala too. And then sure enough, nope. All the young people and all the black people were behind Kamala. And then nope, last minute he pulled something out of his ass, found a way to cheat, and we didn't bust him yet. I'm sure that'll come out in the wash eventually. Oh, Trump didn't really win. He fucking cheated. Watch that. That's coming down the pike.
Yep. So you have, it's, and I don't. So far, he's not backing down. I think eventually he's got to, because China.
What do you mean he's not back? He's backed down every single fucking time so far.
Not for China.
Every time he said a tariff, and he took it back. And he said a tariff, then he took it back.
Well, no, he said he was going to lower China's to 125, but he didn't. He said, "Oh no, I'm going to keep it." So China is the one that's the wild card. But I think I'll tell you, like I said, when you get to it, where there's nothing on the shelves to buy, there won't be no Democrat, won't be no Republican, won't be no independent, just pissed off people, and that's when you don't want to be president. So
yeah, that's when he won't even show his face in public.
I think he's just going to go golfing and stay
That's
out.
all he does, bro. That's all he fucking does. Well, I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares? It's been real, though. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Love and respect. I'll catch you all in the next one. You heard?
Was that it? That's all you're going to do, huh?
That was it.
I did a 3-hour long ass nickel anything, man. I was wore out by the time that was done.
You're better than me. That's why.
They just kept asking questions. I said,
It's
what?
only me and you in this motherfucker, so
No,
we're not
it's
going to
not.
do that.
There's Jobby. Did you see Jobby down there?
It says 0 people watching right now, so maybe he stopped in, but he left already.
Where's
I'll
Steve?
tell you exactly. He doesn't like politics.
Yeah, well, he might have saw we was talking and then left. I don't know.
I will play a little bit of song.
I'm gonna guess the song. Roll it to the club. Trying to
I'm
sing
not even.
that Johnny Cash.
I won't even try to. I won't even play that one because
Cocaine.
it seems like I want to see if I can get one video to be monetized before I die. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Later.
Peace out.
Ow.